G'day everyone and welcome to Sci-Fi Weekly. In 2016, I'm hoping to bring you some of the more colourful events on the calendar, including one today from the 501st Legion's Redback Garrison. They played a game of T20 cricket on the weekend and Buzzard joins me now from the game. Firstly, mate, tell me about the 501st.
Well, the 501st is a worldwide costuming organisation. Obviously, we do Star Wars and specifically the bad guys. Our catchphrase is bad guys doing good.
Now that motto is quite apt, isn't it? The game is part of a national drive to fundraise for the McGrath Foundation to fight breast cancer, but you also do other charity work, don't you?
Yes, absolutely, yeah. One of the main things we do is raise funds for charity. We do a lot of troops around the state and of course as a worldwide organisation around various parts of the world. And we try to raise as much money as we can for the various charities that we support.
On to today's game. Who won?
That would be the Death Stars, not the Emperor's 11 that I was a part of.
You did try and save the game for your team, didn't you?
27 to run off a couple of balls, which obviously wasn't going to happen, but I did manage to get one run. I'm not very much of a sportser, as so much as I am as a costumer.
Has this become an annual tradition for the Redback Garrison?
Yes, it is. This is our third run. We like to do it. We've picked it up as another one of our charity events. We've made it an annual thing. And so we do like to get the word out there for people to come down and help to support us and raise awareness for breast cancer.
People watching might be wondering why I called you Buzzard in the intro, but there's a good reason, isn't there?
Buzzard is my forum name. I'm considering changing it to Red 5 because I did take out the first Death Star in the game today. So.
All right, mate, thank you so much for your time. We'll see you a little bit later in the year on May the 4th.
Absolutely, looking forward to it.
The archives at TrekZone.org have been building since 2013. This week, part of my chat with Tim Russ. Tim Russ, welcome to the TrekZone Spotlight and thanks for your time.
Thank you, my pleasure.
The reason that we're chatting today is for a production you're working on at the moment. We'll chat about that in a second. But first, your Star Trek journey began when you auditioned for the role of Geordi LaForge. You lost out to LeVar Burton, obviously, but did that make you want a job on Trek more?
Not necessarily. At the time, that was just one of a dozen interviews that I might have had that month. For television or film projects, so it was just another opportunity that came my way, and at the time also I wasn't aware of exactly how close I was or how far I was away from getting that role. I just had a chance to go in and read for it, so the opportunity came and went, and I was looking by next week for something else to do.
Eventually you landed the role of Tuvok on Voyager. Was that a great change of pace, a fun difference from all those guest spots?
Oh, that was tremendous. The opportunity was wonderful. I mean, and again, if it had been any television series, it would have been a great plus. As it turns out, this particular show and series of shows has such a large fan base around the world and a franchise to go with it that is carried on well beyond the series. And in that way, in that sense, it's very different than in an average television show. If you do an average series, doctor show, lawyer show, no matter how popular they may be, they typically will stop. Once the show is off the air, that's going to be it. So with this type of show, with Star Trek in particular, there isn't really an end to it. It continues. It goes on from conventions to other types of work that might be related to it. It's just it has a life of its own. So for me, as a career standpoint, it was definitely a big plus. My goal at the time was to get on a show that was going to stay on the air for more than a year. So, and that's what my goal was at the time.
You mentioned the convention circuit. It's been 15 years since Voyager ended, but people are still coming out. They're meeting the stars, discussing these episodes that are up to 20 years old. What do you make of all of that?
Mind-blowing. That's all I can say, man. It's just mind-blowing. I can't wrap my head around it. In some sense, you can't believe it. In another sense, you can put it together to some degree. You can put it together logically, if you excuse the term. But it's still, amazes me that there is that much interest and excitement and anticipation, as it were, to see me in person, because I represented this character on a show that's been off the air for over 15 years, and a franchise that's been on since the 60s. It's just remarkable to me. I can't put my finger on it. There's a magic to the effect that this show has on the fans.
Lastly, you are looking at crowdfunding for the next episode of Renegades. Can you give us some details about what that's going to entail?
Well, we're going to be continuing on the basically part 2 and 3 sort of arc to finish up the Renegades pilot series. Pilot episode. We're going to also have a number of episodes planned after that as well to carry on the cast, to carry on the setting and the environment and the storylines. But part 2 and 3 basically are a wrap-up of the opening pilot episode. We don't have the script written yet, the story written yet. We're just working on the just very basic fundamental outline. So, and also gathering the cast members that we're putting out. We're talking to Robert Beltran, also Terry Farrell, a number of other cast members coming on board to be part of this as well, which is going to expand the cast in that sense and really give us some fun things to play with in terms of story. My concept with Renegades initially was that it was to be wide open. It was to be different than what we've seen before. It was to, to go beyond what Trek has existed before this. And to me, the more we go and open up all of these other possibilities for storylines, to me is the better. That's what I really like. I love the surprises and twists and turns, and I want to see more and more of those, along with the sort of edgy style that we've shot so far. We're going to continue in all of that. It's not going to be your grandmother's Star Trek. It's simple as that.
You can watch the interview in full at spotlight.trekzone.org, as well as all the other in-depth chats with sci-fi alumni I've had. My chat with Tommy Kraft, the man behind one of the most anticipated Star Trek fan films this year, is coming up on the Trek Zone Spotlight. But right now, here's your first look at the trailer for Star Trek Horizon.
Horizon. So aptly named. Both for its majesty and its grand power.
6 months on a mission to bring back Tamar on a whim that it might change the tide of the war in our favor.
The issue is the intel that she's brought us. The Romulans are building a weapon of mass destruction. 2 light years from Earth.
The Romulan weapon is somehow connected to this planet.
Obviously, this must be stopped at all costs.
All hands, this is the captain. I know that we are preparing to go into a dangerous situation, but we have done the work and we are ready. I couldn't be more proud to be serving with you. All of you. Lieutenant, maximum warp. Why are you so committed to helping us?
When I first saw myself after the procedure, I realized what I alone represented. The annihilation of another people for no reason.
There's a clearing ahead. Romulan warp signatures.
Here we go.
You must hold this location. The future of the Romulan people is in your hands, Admiral. Do not forget that.
Report! We have breaches on decks D, E, and F.
Are you seeing this?
I've never seen this on any star charts.
That's because it wasn't here before.
Betrayed everything that I stood for. Everything that I thought humanity should be. Who we are. What we are. We should never lose that.
I
There's more at stake than you know.
That trailer looks absolutely incredible and I can't wait to see it. Star Trek Horizon coming very, very soon. And as I said, my chat with Tommy will be available on the Trek Zone Spotlight very, very soon as well. Meantime, hundreds of thousands of people have already downloaded a little game called Star Trek Wrath of Gems, and now they're offering fans the chance to be a character on the game. No purchase is necessary, just go to the official giveaway page for details on how to enter. The competition is running until Feb 28th. I've been playing this game for the last couple of days and it's pretty fun. There are some continuity errors however, like Worf at the con and the uniforms worn by the characters given the date of the game. Also, there are some pretty stunning grammatical mistakes, but overall, it's some good escapism for those long commutes or downtime cheering or after work. And finally, on this podcast, some pretty exciting news. Sci-Fi Weekly has been invited to Iron Fest just outside of Sydney in April. It's a medieval festival that's grown over the better part of a decade and now features quite a few clans, including a wrestling clan and a sci-fi clan. That's right, members of the USS Tydirium Star Trek fan club in Sydney will be in attendance, flying the flag for science fiction at a medieval festival. I'm told it works absolutely brilliantly and it's going to be an absolutely amazing weekend. I will have Trek Zone live coverage as well as a very special podcast from the fairgrounds. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. Not only that, I'm heading to Oz Comic Con in Melbourne, Sydney and Brisbane for Trek Zone live coverage, the usual Trek Zone Spotlight interviews and special Sci-Fi Weekly podcasts as well. It's all about celebrating Star Trek's 50th anniversary in 2016 and not forgetting I am still working on an exclusive tribute video as well. It's a bit of a logistical nightmare, so I'm hoping that it will all pay off before Star Trek's 50th in September. Well, that is Sci-Fi Weekly for this week. Thanks so much for watching. Get in touch with me on all of these social media channels. I'd love to strike a conversation with absolutely everybody watching this podcast. So make sure you say good day. Well, that is it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.